What's going on, everyone? This is Erik with Full Man MMA, and today I am joined by Chad Mendes. Chad, how are you?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, of course. Well, you just had a little over a week ago your first bare knuckle fighting championship win against Joshua Alvarez. How are you feeling physically and mentally after that first bare knuckle fight?
I feel good, man. My right hand was pretty swollen that night, and it's been pretty bruised, but it's almost back to normal. All the swelling between the knuckles are pretty much gone. Still a little tender, but I don't know. I don't think I broke anything. I never got it x-rayed, but I think we're good. I started shooting my bow like right when I got home, so everything was good to go, and, and I was all right with it. But man, mentally feeling great. I was so much fun. I mean, outside of the fight getting postponed and having a really long training camp and just like preparation for it, it was awesome, man. Probably the most fun I had for any camp. I went up a weight class, so I didn't have to cut a ton of weight, which was really nice. And it was just fun, man. I enjoy boxing. Obviously wrestling was something I've done my whole life, but wrestling and boxing, when I got into the MMA world, were my two favorite things to train. And just being able to focus specifically on boxing and then just strength and conditioning, it was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. I would definitely do it again. Just got to talk the wife into that one.
Well, yeah, you had that 3-fight contract. You mentioned it was a little bit tough to get your family behind it. After you were successful and you looked incredible in that fight. Do you think that maybe she's going to be a little more open to you possibly doing it in the future?
I don't know, bro. I got home and she made me look her in the eyes and say, I will not do another combat sport in my life. So it's going to be a fight for sure, but I don't know. We'll see.
Well, you mentioned the weight cut there as well, because obviously this was at 155. You spent most of your UFC career at 145. You obviously look great physically, but like, how much did you feel any different in there without having to cut that weight?
Yeah, I felt great, man. Explosive. I didn't get tired at all. And I mean, obviously they're 2-minute rounds. I knew even just through training camp, 2 minutes goes by so fast, and they went by even faster when you're in there in the actual fight. But I feel great, man. I got to eat a lot through my whole training camp, just eat the right things and making sure I'm getting enough calories and nutrients in to where recovery was perfect. And it felt good. Like when I was fighting at 45s, I walked around about 168, and I'm now about 170 to 172. And so I was pretty close to that same size. So I didn't, not having to suck so much water. I think that the day of the fight, like I usually feel good in my MMA fights for about a round or two, and then it's just a push because your body's so just depleted of everything. But no, I felt really good.
Well, it was a dominant fight. Did you surprise yourself at all? Because you look so much faster, so composed for it being your first bare knuckle fight. Like, how surprised were you and just how dominant you were?
I mean, not surprised, honestly. I felt in my mind I had so much like control going into it, and there were so many good techniques, and just wanted to say solid and controlled. And you get in there and it's like just Mike Tyson come out and it's like, I just want to rip this dude's head off, and all that stuff goes out the window. And looking back, I just watched the fight for the first time yesterday. And, I felt like I was a lot more sloppy than I guess I was when I watched the fight, but still there were so many things I'm just like, oh God, like that I would want to tighten up for sure. But it's, that's my first time doing any type of boxing competition. And especially bare knuckle, that makes a huge difference too. But no, I mean, all in all, I felt good. And like I said, I would definitely do another one. So, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I surprised myself. I would definitely go back and fine tune a ton of stuff.
Yeah, for sure. How just generally was your experience with bare knuckle fighting championship? Because you fought in the UFC for so long, I'm sure they do things their way. And then, you go into a new promotion later in your career. Like, how was fight week? How was it dealing with the employees there? Like, how did it compare?
Oh man, they were all so great. There was a couple small like scheduling issues with like the hotel and stuff like that, which is still things that they're trying to work out, but it wasn't so much their fault. But all in all, man, everybody was super, super friendly and just, willing to work hard. Everybody was doing everything, going above and beyond. So I didn't know what to expect going into it. Obviously my beginning days at the Tachi Palace fighting, you know, at my first, I think 5 fights. And, you know, some of that stuff was pretty scatterbrained. And, you know, I had a guy just not even show up to weigh-ins. One time I'm sitting there on weight and just fight didn't happen because he never showed up. And, you know, I just didn't know what to expect. And it was definitely ran well. They're doing a good job. You know, it's still just a very small organization. They're very new. I think that they definitely need to hire more staff, you know, and I think they're moving in that right direction. But it's just growing. But all in all, it was good.
It was a bit of a surprising signing when the news first came out, just because it was, you know, so random. It was kind of out of left field. How did it all come together? Like, how seriously did you take the offer when bare knuckle first came to you?
You know, it was over a year ago. You know, I had the itch to get back in there and just start doing some boxing training with my coach Joey, and I did a little bit of posting about it. And you know, they'd kind of talked to Uriah a little bit before that, and I just, you know, I wasn't interested. I was done. I was helping grow my other businesses and having fun outside of the fight life, and you know, starting to raise a family, and there really wasn't much of an interest. But the more I started training and, you know, was feeling good, I was still feeling good. And they saw more and more of those videos, and they kept, you know, getting in there and offering more and more money, until finally it was like, it's a no-brainer. If I don't go and beat somebody up for this amount of money, like, I'm an idiot, you know? And so I decided to accept it. Well, I talked it over with the family first, and you know, talked to my coaches, and everybody seemed to be on board, you know? And so we signed on the dotted line, and here we are today, one under the belt and feeling good about it. So I'm glad I did it, man. It was a fun experience.
That's awesome. You mentioned they were talking to Uriah. Was that ever close to happening? Uriah Faber getting in there?
Yeah, I know he had talked about it a bit. And in fact, even after this fight, he was there with me, and we were talking at the after party, and he's like, man, if I wasn't already in my 40s, I for sure would at least do one. But, you know, he's like, I think it's a little bit past me now. So, but yeah, I think he would do so good in there. He'd love it.
Well, you talked to Helwani a little bit about this last week, but you did still have fights remaining on your UFC contract. And,
Yeah.
you know, in the past, they haven't been, you know, super willing to do it with guys like George St. Pierre. I know Francis Ngannou is going through the same thing, wanting to do boxing outside of the UFC. Were you surprised at just, you know, how receptive they were to this idea for you?
Yeah, 100%. I expected it to be a big no. And so the fact that they allowed that was super cool. You know, I appreciate it a ton. This was a big payday for me and my family. And, you know, it was fun. I feel like I'm still in my prime. You know, I left when I was 34 from the UFC. It still can compete with the best of them. It's top of the list there. But, you know, just for me, I was doing other things, and, you know, that was something that was worth more to me. So I stepped away from it. But, you know, the fact that they allowed me to go make this big chunk of money, you know, doing something like this was super cool on them. I mean, they definitely didn't have to let me do that. So for sure.
Yeah. Do you wish that maybe they would be more lenient with letting other fighters go out and try, just because of how much fun you had doing it?
Yeah, I wish they would, man. I mean, especially because it's not MMA. I understand the fact that it's, you know, another organization, that's their competitor, but this isn't really competition. You know, they're bare knuckle boxing, it's getting big. Who knows it, you know, who knows how big it'll get, but it's nowhere near the UFC, you know? And so the fact that it's not really a competition, you know, why not let some of these fighters go and make some money, get in there and scrap, and, you know, and come back to the UFC if they want, you know? It's just another avenue for these fighters to get in there and make some awesome money, and then get back to the UFC. So I don't know. Hopefully they allow that to start happening a little bit more. But like I said, it was super cool that they let me.
Yeah, and I know bare knuckle president David Feldman said that he was actually looking at making a play on Francis Ngannou. That would be pretty remarkable to grow bare knuckle, wouldn't it?
Oh, I tell you what, I would not want to be anywhere near that dude bare knuckle. Could you imagine that dude hitting you in the face bare knuckle? He's gonna kill somebody.
Do you think that you know, seeing the success that you had and that other fighters, you know, Mike Perry was on that card, he had a pretty exciting fight as well. Do you think that other MMA fighters are going to start, you know, looking at bare knuckle as like a serious alternative to mixed martial arts promotions?
100%, man. I'll tell you what, like, outside of the knuckles being sharp and that part of it being brutal, You know, it's, in my opinion, it's easier than MMA. You know, obviously I haven't been in a war in a bare knuckle fight, so I don't know what that really feels like. But, you know, 2 minute rounds, it's only, you know, 5 2 minute rounds. It's just boxing. You don't have to worry about kicks, knees, elbows, grappling, you know, and the money's really good. So yeah, I agree. I mean, I know there's a few teammates of mine that have already started asking about it, you know, and you know, there's people that are definitely getting more and more interested in it. So I'd heard that, I think Feldman told me this that night, we were the #4 most downloaded app in the world,
Wow.
which is freaking cool. And I think we had the highest grossing ticket sales for the Hard Rock that night, even over the UFC, I think. So, you know, I think the buzz about it is there. People are interested in it. They like seeing it. You know, so yeah, I think you're going to start seeing more and more UFC fighters come over for sure.
Yeah, that's incredible. Well, and you mentioned, you know, you don't really need to rely on fighting to make a living anymore. Did that take any of the pressure off, like this training camp, that you're just doing it for fun?
100%, man. Yeah, I talked about that, I think, with Ariel, but it's so different. I mean, that's the first fight that I'd ever gone into where there wasn't stress of losing money. I mean, it was a guaranteed amount no matter what, obviously, but you know, either way, it's like this is all just a bonus. This is fun. Like I'm set with all the other stuff and I don't have to go in and do this. So if something comes up, if I get injured or something right at the end, I don't have to do this, you know? Whereas before it's like you get injured before, which has happened to me in some of my fights. It's like I have no choice. I just went through a whole camp. If I don't go and fight, I'm not going to get paid, you know? And so you're stressed. You go in there, you're not 100%, you know, and sometimes bad things happen. So yeah, it definitely was a lot more fun going into a fight without having that pressure on you.
That's great. What kind of projects do you have outside of the cage that are kind of filling that gap where you don't need to fight actively anymore?
Yeah, we got a few. We so Finz and Featherz is kind of my baby. We started that back in 2015. You know, basically we put together hunting and fishing trips all over the world, and we put other UFC fighters or pro ball players, actors, whatever, other celebrities on the trips with clients. So they get to go do a cool hunt, bring a bunch of cool, you know, great wild game meat home to their families, but also get to do it alongside somebody they watch in a sport or on TV or whatever. So it's a cool, unique experience there. Also started a cookbook and rub company. I have one of these cookbooks called The Provider. You guys can see that. So we
Awesome.
just
Yeah.
launched this cookbook this last year, and we also have 10 different rubs. We're in Sportsman's Warehouse now, the Murdoch's, Big R stores, a bunch of Ace Hardwares. You know, we're all direct to consumer too on the website, theproviderlife.com. So that stuff's doing really well. It's starting to take off, which is pretty cool. I love food. I love cooking. I love eating. That's my love language. So anything that I can do in that realm is like, it's my happy place for sure. So and then we also have a beef company, American Almond Beef. So all grass-fed, pasture-raised, and then the last 100 to 150 days, we feed them nothing but our high octane like almond feed, where it's all Northern California grown almonds, you know, all kinds of like high-end stuff. I want to give away our proprietary blend, but no soy, no corn, we don't, no hormones, no antibiotics. And it's a direct to consumer. So that people can just jump on our website, americanalmondbeef.com. You can pick and choose whatever you want, hit send, and it'll show up on your doorstep frozen in a box. And you don't have to go to the store. You know, it's good quality meat. Like I said, no hormones or antibiotics, and it tastes amazing. The almond feed that we give these things, the fat that they have on them has like a really buttery flavor, super tender, just a really good meat. With the way prices of meat are right now in the store, it's you'll find that we're a lot cheaper in a lot of things than a lot of the store stuff too, and it's better quality. So we've been just putting a ton of time and energy into these types of things and growing them over the last few years, and it's fun, man. I have this drive outside of the competitive edge where, you know, when I'm not competing, like I got to be doing something. Like, what can I do? What can I do to succeed or build something or grow something? And having these outlets has been huge for me to keep me busy. I'm a little bit ADD, and my wife will tell you, if I don't have a plan, like if we go into a Sunday and we have no plan, I'm just like bouncing off the walls. Like I got to have something to do. We can't just sit around all day, you know. But I enjoy it, man. I love it. It's all things that you know, really combine a lot of my passions in life, and just kind of helping these things grow and succeed, and seeing people enjoy them it's so fulfilling, and it's been fun for sure.
That's awesome. You're a busy man, so congratulations on all that. I was intrigued by Finz and Featherz because I've been following it for a while, and I see Clay Guida posting about it too. Like, who are some of the I'm assuming you go on these trips as well, right?
I go on a lot of them. The idea when I started this was, for the first like 2 or 3 years, I went on every single one of them. Wow. And my wife's like, all right, come on, like you're gone 90% of the year. And so the idea was to grow the company to big enough to where I can start sending other athletes on these trips that I don't have to go on. In the last like 2 or 3 years, we've kind of gotten to that. So, me, Faber, Miss Jessie Jess is a new one we just picked up this year, and Macy Barber. They're both, well, Jess has never hunted. This is like something she's wanted to do. She's always wanted to become like a provider and be able to go out and harvest her own meat and live off that. So this will be her first year doing it. But Macy, she's hunted her whole life. Big archery hunter, super cool. We got Cody's one of them, Paige Van Zant's one of them. We got Michael Chandler, Steve Wonderboy. He's one of them we just talked to and locked up this year. We're trying to get him on our Florida Gator trip. Right now, I'm supposed to hear back from him today. And then actors, I got my buddy Max Terriot, who does a lot of our fishing stuff. Obviously, Guida does fishing stuff. Scotty Lago is a pro snowboarder. He's a good buddy of mine. Super cool guy. Loves the outdoors. Willie Bloomquist. We got Bear Pasco. We got, it's just a big list. And we used to have that list on our website, and we had removed it. And I need to put that back on there. I think it's cool for people to go on and just see a lot of the different athletes that love to hunt, love to fish, and love the outdoors. And because I think a lot of these people in their industry are afraid to talk about it, just because sometimes there's such a big negative kickback on it, which sucks, man. This is the day and age we live in, where it's hunting and fishing. Like, if you hunt, you're looked at as evil with a lot of people. And it's like, you'll go to the store and buy a big chunk of meat that you have no connection to, and you're okay with that. But if I go out and kill a deer and put that meat in my freezer, I'm evil, and it's weird, but that's the times we live in. So it's good. And that's one of the reasons we started the Provider, is just kind of spreading that good knowledge of the outdoor life and living off the land, and why we hunt, why we fish. It's not an evil thing. It's where, it's what we started doing from day one, and what's got us to where we are now. And, let's not forget about that, and let's keep that tradition alive and pass that down to our kids and our kids' kids, and keep that going. So, that's kind of the love and the message that we wanted to spread with that brand. And I think we're doing a decent job with it. It's starting to take off. So hopefully we get to talk again in maybe a couple of years, and it's huge. We'll see.
I'm in. Yeah. Well said there. Wrapping things up here, you got, your first fight in a couple of years, but first fight of 2022 as well. What are your plans for 2022 in the gym? You just gonna, stay training, stay active, or, maybe is there like a little part of you that would want to get another fight in before the end of the year?
Oh, 100. I would like to get one more in for sure. But like I said, we're going to have to talk it over with the family and figure out what makes the most sense. Is it basically me just being selfish at this point? I got 2 daughters and a wife, and, we don't necessarily need the money. Yeah, it's nice, but, is it me being selfish and taking the risk of getting seriously hurt, or, maybe there's not, and I can get in there and do it again. But we just got to talk that through, but either way, I'm going to continue working out. I don't ever stop. Really. I feel like crap if I go a week without doing anything, and so I'll still be hitting the gym. I have a home gym too, where if I don't get down into the MMA gym, I can run it back there too. So, we'll definitely stay in shape, and hopefully, I'm hoping that I'm talking to you again soon and we have another fight lined up. So we'll see.
Well, I don't want your wife to get mad at me now because I'm encouraging it, but it was great to see you in there. But Chad, no, you were so generous with your time today. Thank you so much. It was great having you on. I'll link everything that you just talked about in the description below, but hopefully we'll be able to talk soon.
Awesome. I thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And if you have any other questions, if you want to get me on any other time, let me know.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching this video. If you like our content, be sure to subscribe to Full Man MMA. And while you're at it, make sure to hit the bell icon as well so you never miss an update from us.